into it, maybe I'll look into it also. Does the smoking affect the efficacy of the diodes? You see anything on that? I don't know if you'll find anything. But this is smoke. If it's clear, if you can actually see the diodes, you want to use goggles, and your patient wants to have on goggles, and the goggles should be coated the same wavelength as the head you're using. Okay? So we're using the probe. Now this probe, typically, there'll be a label on it, and the label will tell you what diodes are in here. Some of the wires have been ripped off, like this is kind of ripped off. But both our probes are pretty close. Now this one is telling me the output is 625 milliwatts on the head. Okay, so it's got a pretty powerful head. It has an 885 nanometer diode laser. So this actually has a laser diode. We said sources of low-level light therapy were laser diodes, light-emitted diodes, and what was the third one? SLD stands for superluminous diodes. We have 3 sources of light. So since this is saying I actually have a laser diode here, it's 885 nanometers. So what does that mean to you for treatment? As far as tissue, it can go deep. If you want to treat deeper layers of the dermis, this would be a good wavelength to use. What else does it have in here? It has 10 milliwatts SLD superluminous diodes at 660 nanometers. So is that a shallow depth, deep depth, moderate depth?
Moderate.
Moderate depth, okay? So we said that LEDs typically are a shorter wavelength, so they're more superficial. SLDs are typically around moderate, and laser diodes can go deeper, give you a longer wavelength, and usually have a combination, and that's what you have here. The way you're going to treat with it is, I don't know. Veronica, you want to see if you can play with the camera so they can actually see the display? So I'm going to press a light probe. You see it?
Maybe if you actually just hold it up, John.
Yeah.
You just tilt it?
The screen, I can try, let me try.
Maybe zoom in a little bit more?
I'm trying. Is
Okay,
that
that's
better?
good, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good, man.
So this is what it would look like if you had cataracts.
Okay.
Tip it, yeah.
Just to raise it up just a tiny bit to get the glare away. That's better.
Yeah, that's better. Brilliant. Brilliant. Over the other. There you go.
Okay. So,
There you go.
there's your menu. So it's telling me in 48 seconds I'm delivering 6 joules of energy per square centimeter, okay, of this head. That's a moderate dose. And remember we said for wounds we're using somewhere between 1 and 4, probably 1 and 2 around the open area, 3 and 4 around the periphery, or an acute condition. And we had samples of the World Association of Laser Therapy 2010, right? And they gave us some suggestions. Okay? Acute conditions, great conditions, subacute, chronic, and we can go up to, we saw 14 up there, but typically we'll use 12. Do you see 14 in the clinic? Yeah, are they using that? Terry and Diane, 14 in the clinic yet? In joules per centimeter squared in dose? Do you see, when we give you the dosage of laser energy? I usually use up to 12. So we'll go up to 12 for chronic condition. So at 6 joules, it takes me, let's say I'm going to use 4 joules, it takes me 32 seconds. I hit the start button. This light is telling me that the laser probe is ready. I put it on a treatment area, I'll do the carpal tunnel, I'll put it here, and then I press the start button. And you can see the red light being reflected off my hand here.
Do you want me to move out? So
Sorry.
they can see you holding that there? Okay, that's better.
Okay. And let's say I decide I'm going to give 3 doses along the flexuret line. Okay, I'm treating carpal tunnel. So that's 1 dose, takes 32 seconds, counting down. You have to zoom out a little bit.
That's what I just, let's do. There we go.
Okay, and I'm going to repeat it there, and I'll repeat it there. So you already have your spots. You're not going to overlap doses, but you want to pick 3 spots where we're going to give the dose, or maybe 6 shots to a knee, or 4 or 5 to a shoulder doses. Okay, so that's this particular unit. Now in the practical and in the clinic, you don't know what unit you're going to get. So let's take a look at this unit. So if I switch. So this unit is a combination of laser, ultrasound, and stim. Okay, so you have everything on this unit. As far as, this is my laser head, that's my ultrasound head. So, yeah, so that's the laser head. So as far as the menu, you turn the power on first. Okay, so you want to be familiar with each unit. Turn the power, because you're going to get the unit, maybe it's not even plugged in. So you turn it on. On the practical, you don't want to be fumbling, or where's the power switch? I know where it is somewhere here. And then we want light.
But not your head, not the top of your head.
So you see, right now, let's press light there. Okay, so it's switched automatically. So we got to zoom out some.
For 24 seconds, for 3 joules.
Yeah, well, zoom, you can zoom out a little bit more. Yeah, that's good. Can you make out that saying 24 seconds, 3 joules? Yeah. So there's your light therapy. It's giving me also, I have electric stim choice that we'll get to later. It's giving me ultrasound over here. And the menu will light up with whatever appropriate for what we select. So light therapy, it's saying laser, okay? So that's what I'm selecting. It's my head here, and these were similar. The label, unfortunately, has been ripped off, but they were also medium to deep wavelengths. So they range from 650 to 850, and this was also, it was about a 500 to 600 milliwatt head. Okay. So to give the dose here, this would be for an acute condition, 3 joules per centimeter squared. It's going to take 24 seconds to deliver it. Yeah, the power is the same. When I said this one's 3 joules, this takes 24 seconds to deliver it, and this is the same thing, 24 seconds to deliver 3 joules per centimeter squared.
And you said,
It automatically adjusts. That equation was just so you could figure out what does that mean, milliwatts per second per square centimeter times time. Oh, that's going to give me joules per centimeter per square. So you don't have to figure that out when using the machine. The machine does it automatically. It has a certain amount of power in the head. The longer I give that dose, the more energy density I'm delivering. So automatically, so when I raise the joules, it's raising the seconds. Okay? But I want you to know what that actually means. So on this one, it's similar. So on light therapy here, it's giving me laser. I'm going to press start. Okay? Now the head lights up. So you see it's the yellow lights on the head. So the head is armed. It smokes, so technically I don't have to use the goggles. I'm going to apply it, press it, and now it's delivering a laser dose of 3 joules per centimeter squared. And you're deciding where to grid it and how many doses to give.
If it's not hot, even getting that, you have to use goggles.
This is smoke, so you don't have to use goggles.
If it's not smoke.
If it's clear, if you look at the head and you see the diodes, which is that's the unit that got lost in shipping, that one you can see the actual diodes. But this one you can see is the smoke. Now if I turn this on now, I could blind all of it. It's okay to look at, you see the radiation on the side, that's okay. But you shouldn't look directly at it. Laser is dangerous to the eyes, infrared is dangerous to the eyes. Infrared is probably more dangerous because you don't see it, it doesn't have color. Laser, at least it's in the visible spectrum, you see a color. Okay? So that's 2 of these. The third one is the same. Okay? questions on, laser's probably your simplest of the electrically powered modalities, because there's not much for you to do on it except decide how strong you make energy density, where to grid it, and are you using contact or non-contact. The only time you're going to use non-contact is if it's an open wound. Or if you want to put a saran wrap over it, several pieces of saran wrap, and then you can touch it, light it.
You decide how many doses you want to give when you have a leak, just depending on how big the area is, like the risk will have less doses than maybe you need.
Yeah, what area you're treating? Are you treating just the supraspinatus tendonitis, a small area, or are you treating a rotator cuff strain that involves more of those muscles? You know, that Walt gave you suggestions, like the knee, it's at 5 or 6, wrist, it's at 3. He gave you suggestions how many doses you should use. But the evidence itself is lacking. There's not a cookbook on how many times you want to, how many doses you want to give.
Are you using it?
Yeah. Do you have a cleaner, disinfectant like betadine for the workroom?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll grab it later.
It's on the shelf when you walk in.
Yep. You have a brush also?
I do, it's University of.
All right, so John, bigger area, you want to cover the area of tissue that you think is involved that's going through the wound, okay? So you're saying, is it in the inflammatory phase, proliferative phase, or maturation phase? Am I treating pain? Do I want to speed up inflammation? Do I want to speed up collagen production in the proliferative phase? What tissue do I want to hit? Do I want to hit the dermis? Am I using it for a bactericidal effect? Do it wound care on ulcers? And then you decide how much area I have to cover. Now, if it's a big area and you only have a sound hit, this may not be appropriate. So lasers also come particularly in light emitting tiles and sheets. And you can lay down a sheet. So you can cover maybe a 6x6 area. Okay, so, but the doses is, you're treating a wrist, you're not going to use 8 treatments, right? And you don't want to overlap, so how many treatments can you possibly give that? Right? So, how about 3, you have your numbers from last time, groups? Remember what you were? We got groups of 3, we have 8 groups of 3 and 2 groups of 4, right? And I'd like you to practice all the case studies